Let's continue talking about the laws of Havdala, the candle of the Havdala. Some more things to say about that. Number one is that it says in Halacha like this, Shulchan Aruch, that you're not allowed to bless on the Ner Havdala unless she'yotu ad she'yotu le'oro. This is the language of the Hebrew, right? So what does this mean? It's Mishnah. It means that you have to be able to benefit from that light if you want to bless on it. So what does that mean? It should be close enough to you, and bright enough that you can use it to see something. I mean, not that you actually have to use it to see. You don't have to actually use it. But it has to be potentially there to use. The potential has to be there, That's the thing. You don't have to actually use the candle. You don't have to, there's nothing to use there. But it has to be strong enough to use it. If you wanted.
Some people shut off the light to see better.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say, right? I'm going to talk about that in a second, but right, that's the thing. So make sure, right, that you have enough light there, something. And also, you're close enough to the light. So what does that mean, If you're very far from the person who's making Havdalah, let's say you're in the end of the room, maybe you cannot really see that, you cannot really benefit from the light so much, So then, you're not going to be yotzeh, the bracha, of the candle, because you cannot really use it. The rabbi is okay because he's right there. But what about you, who's in the back over there? You cannot really use the candle, maybe it's too, it's not bright enough for you. So that's why it's a good idea, when the rabbi makes Havdalah, come close a little bit, to make sure so you can see, use the candle. Potentially use the candle, potentially. Okay. That's one thing, right? Now, regarding what he said, right, Boris, this is a very good thing, because the truth is, now some people started this Numin Hag, Baruch Hashem, over here, I think they don't do it, right? They don't do it, thank God. You know why? Because the rabbi is a smart guy. That's why. Because you don't really need to do that, What does that mean? Now they started this new, pason, moda, right? What does that mean? Somebody goes, and shuts off the light, and before the rabbi does Borei Meoresh. You ever see this in Bukhara, they did this, or in the old country somewhere? No, it's not a minhag like this. There's no minhag like this. It's a new moda.
They didn't have electricity over there.
They had, believe me, 100 years ago they had electricity, even 100 years ago, 50 years ago, for sure they had. So what's the story with that? The story is, that there's no reason to shut down the lights, because that light, if it's close to you, you can use it anyway. It doesn't matter if you have another light or not. What difference does it make? If you really think about it, there's no logic to it. There's no logika. It's nothing. You don't need that, I have to shut it down, The thing is, I remember, I was in one shul over here, and they shut it down over there, So I told them, I said, listen, don't do this, Don't shut it down. I told them, I said, the rabbis say you don't need to do that, the poskim. So what they told me? He says, we want to do it anyway. You understand? So, what I told them? I said, no, not a good idea. You know why? Because when you do it anyway, people think, this is obligation, it's chovah, it's obligation, it makes a wrong impression, like, oh, you have to do it, if you don't do it, no, lo yatzai de chovah. That's why, it's better not to be machmir, to shut off the lights. Even if you know, right, that it's not obligation, but you do it anyway, it's like, we call that, in the poskim, they say matmiya, somebody who's like doing strange things, things which are unusual, no logic, strange. For sure, right? A person who does this, has this idea in his head. You know what he is, right? Amaretz. That means he never learned the halakha, the Shulchan Aruch. That's why he does it. If he knew the halakha, he wouldn't do it. That's why he's Amaretz, this guy. The person. Okay, whatever, right? Hashem should bring them all to do teshuvah, but you don't need it. I remember in the Beit Knesset of Maran also, they never did things like this, or anywhere in Yerushalayim. that I was there. All the good, shuls over there, Beit Knesset. Nobody shut down the lights. Not Sfaradim, not Ashkenazim. Nobody did this. New moda, new pason, something, Charashim mikaro, right? That's what it is, New fashion. Okay, whatever, right? You don't need it. Better not to do it also, right? Don't do it. Okay, fine. So that's regarding that, right? Now, another thing, right, says in Shulchan Aruch, is that, the minhag is, right? Amnon asked me about this the other day. He says, Rabbi, why do they do this, like this? When they do the Havdalah, right? To show the nails, fingers and, right, this. Why do they do like this? So I told him, I said, the reason is like this. It's important to know that, because it says in Shulchan Aruch, The reason is because we want to use the light, to see something. You know what I mean? So what does that mean? I want to see the difference between my nails and the skin, like something like that, right? To see the difference. Because the truth is, that it says in the halakha that it should be enough light in the Havdala candle, you can see the difference between two types of coins, Let's say, right, a quarter, right, looks like this, and then you bring a Canadian quarter, looks a little bit different, right, the Canadian one. It's similar, but different, right? So if that light can help you to see, right, the difference between a Canadian quarter and an American quarter, that's good, right? So we don't have money, because it's Shabbat, so we're not using money. We don't have any cash. Right? So what we do is we use the nails, right? That's that's the thing, So what's a better way to do? Like this or like this? Which one is better? So they say, the poskim, that this is the better way. Why? What's the reason why? Because this way you see the nails and also the palms, of the hands. You see both of them. Right? But if you do it this way, you just see the back, So that's what we want to do, we want to see both. Like this. Like this. Right? You want to see the nails and you want to see the palms. Both of them, right? So this is the better way to do it. Also, I think it says in the Kabbalah like this, to do it this way. In the Arizal. So this is the better way to do it, like this, the proper way. This like this, this, so you see both.
One hand is enough, or should be two?
You don't need two hands. One hand is enough. Yeah, one hand is enough.
Sometimes you hold in the kiddush.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need it. It's not necessary, right? It's just, too much, a little bit too much energy there going on. Whatever, it's all good. Baruch Hashem. So this is the way to do it like this, right? So that's the reason why we do it that way. Okay. I'll tell you also something interesting, that, what I want to say, yeah. So there's also a special prayer, that we do, the Sfaradim. The minhag is, we do like a special prayer before Havdalah. Did you ever see this prayer before? What I'm talking about? It starts like this, right? Eloheinu be'elohavotenu b'simat tov mazal tov hachel aleinu. Right? You know what I'm talking about? You know this prayer?
No.
It's there. It's in the Siddur.
Yeah, I see.
It's there, right?
No.
So when I was your age, also I didn't know. So don't feel guilty. But what happened is, right, that then when I went to Bet Knesset of Maran, right, I see that they're doing this, this prayer. They're doing, yeah. In the old days, right, Maran used to do it himself. But then, he got older, so then the Chazan was doing the Havdalah, so he was doing it, the Chazan. Right? So he then, I saw, when he put out the Chazan Ovadia, right, on Shabbat, which was right before he passed away, That's the last book that he wrote.
Wow.
Chazan Ovadia, exactly.
Wow.
Right, before he passed away, he was doing this, I think I told you one time, right, that the rabbi, decided, before he passed away, like when he was about 90 years old, because he passed away in like 93. He was 93. So before he passed away, he decided, all of a sudden he got into his head, you know what, I'm going to write Hilchot Shabbat, books on Shabbat. Chazan Ovadia, right? He got this idea, brainstorm in his head, So what he did was he started writing, and he knew he's sick, he doesn't have a lot of time, he knows he's going to pass away soon. He feels it, The body's not strong, he's getting sick, all kinds of problems, So what did he do? He started to write, very quickly, like with all the energy, like day and night, 24 hours, chak, 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 chak. So what happened was, the Maran was so crazy about this, writing the books on Shabbat. He knew he was running against the clock, You know what I mean? Doesn't have much time, limited time. So people told him one time, because they noticed, what happened? In the old days, right? The rabbi used to have Kabbalat Kahal. So what does that mean? If somebody wanted to go to the rabbi, to ask a question, or to get a bracha, there was a schedule, You go in, you tell the gabbai, he'll take you in, you mix a schedule, appointment, right? Hazmana, blah, blah, blah. But then, when he started writing this book on Shabbat, all of a sudden, it's very hard to get in, You have to push a lot. It's like, you have to do 3 times as much push to get in there. So one time a person asked him, came to Rabbi, I said, Rabbi, why aren't you, letting people come in, to ask you questions, to get a bracha? What's going on over here? What, you locking everybody out? So what I told him, Rabbi? He says, I'm writing now this book on Shabbat. He says, I know I don't have much time to live. He says, I know. I'm going to die soon. He says, I'm trying to finish this book, He says, I want to finish it before I die. I know I'm going to die soon. So you know what he told him? He says, the reason why I want to write this book on Shabbat, he says, because there's nobody else in this generation, no other rabbi who can write this book like me. I know, I'm the only one that knows laws of Shabbat like me. Nobody knows. You know? So he said, that's why I want to finish it. I want to finish his book. So what happened in the end? In the end, he didn't finish it, you know? he was on the 6th volume, you know? 6, Vav, Chelek Vav. And in the middle of the 6th volume, he passed away. That's what happened, right? So anyway, he got 6, not too bad, right? 6 of them. That's also good. It's excellent, you know? What can I tell you, right? If you don't have it, by the way, these books, they're in Hebrew, you know? I heard that they put it out in English also. They put out in English, right? They did, yeah. They put out. But anyway, right? These books are very important. So what does he write over there? Why do I tell you this? He writes over there also about this prayer, you know? He says that the minhag of the Sfarim is to do this prayer. Right? So that's when we saw, right, that it's not just his own personal minhag. It's the minhag of all the Sfaradim to do this prayer.
We don't have it now, Siddur.
You don't have it. It's because it's not there. Okay, so you have to get another one. What can I do? What can I do? It's not the end of the world, you know. It's not like you like you didn't fulfill your obligation. You know what I mean? It's not like that, you know. But you know, if you can get a siddur that gives you, you know, try to get one. You know, if you can, it's good. Good thing, you know. So once I saw this, you know, Maran was doing himself, and also in the book, I started also doing it myself. I didn't do that, you know. And the Georgians, we don't do this, you know. The Georgians don't do. I mean, this thing. Not everybody does, you know. But he said the Sfaradim, they do. So there you go, right? So try to do it, you know. It's a little bit long, I have to tell you, you know. It's a little bit long, but it's a beautiful tefillah. Why do we say this tefillah, by the way, before the Havdala? What's the reason why? Because we want to have a good week, you know. Start the week, you know, in a good way, you know. So we're saying all kinds of nice tefillot over here, you know. That the Shavua should be good, you know, and blessed, you know. Everything should be good, you know. It's a big thing, you know. We want to make the Shavua tov, right? It should be a good week. This is the reason why we say it, and this is also the reason why, by the way, that we have a minhag also on Havdalah, right? That we do all the psukim, right? La yodim hayta ora v'simcha v'sason v'ikar, right? All these things, right? All these psukim that we say. Why do we say these psukim? What do we need it for? It's a part of the Havdalah? No! So what do we do it for? Right? Because of good mazal, you know? All these psukim over there are for good mazal, you know? There should be a good week. Good mazal for the week. So this prayer and all those psukim that we say, it should be a good Shabbat Tov. It should be a good week for everybody, yeah? Yeah, some people have a minhag also to do Eliyahu Navi. Maran, he didn't do, you know, he didn't do this. He didn't do Eliyahu Navi. Some people have minhag to do. If you have it, okay, that's good, you know, that's also good, Baruch Hashem, that's also good. It's really Ashkenazi more, you know, this Eliyahu Navi, you know, this Eliyahu, whatever. But anyway, right, but there are also some Sfaradim they also do. I'll tell you one more thing, we'll stop. Another interesting thing is, right, Boris asked me the other day, are we allowed to do, right, use Ner Havdalah with electric, you know, chashmal. Is that allowed to bring, right? Borei meorei ha'esh, you know, take a flashlight or something, right? Or, you know, one of those bulbs, right? Whatever. Are you allowed to do? So the truth is, you know, when I spoke to you about this, I was a little bit hesitant, right? Not to allow this, but, you know, now I looked into the books, you know, a little bit, looked around. I saw that Maran Rabbi Basham, he writes in Chelek Bet, Chazon Obadia, he writes about this, brings a lot of poskim over there. You know, and he says over there that Lemaaseh, you shouldn't use electric, you know, for Havdalah. Don't use it. He does bring there, you know, some poskim that allow to use it. He brings like 2, 3, 4 poskim that allow that. But he says, you know why? It's a bracha levatala, you know, safek brachot leakel. You know, maybe you've been making a blessing in vain, bracha levatala. So he says, because it's a machloket, you know, and most of the poskim say don't use it. You know, so he says, therefore, don't get into a machloket, you know, don't get into a safek, vapros. Maybe it's good, maybe it's no good.
It's not because of the idea is because of Dama Rishon and they made the fire.
Yeah, so the thing is like this, you know, that the reason why they give the poskim not to use electric is because there's something in the Talmud, you know, also in the Shulchan Aruch, that when the ash is covered with something, you're not allowed to use it, you know. So the problem is, you know, that when with the electric, you know, it's always covered with glass or plastic. This is the problem, you know. This is the reason why they say not to use it. Because it should not be covered, you know, for Havdalah, for Ner Havdalah.
Just skip the prayer.
I'm sorry?
Just say for a blind and that's it, and skip everything.
If you don't have, right, you don't make a bracha on that, right? Don't make a bracha on that because it could be a bracha levatala, you know. So I'm sure you got something, right? You got spichka, you know. As I told you, you can use spichka. Take 2 spichka. That's it. Borei meoresh. You can use that, right? If you don't have any candles. No problem. I saw one time Maran, there was a picture of him making with the bracha with matches, with gafurim, spichka. I saw, he was doing sometimes like that. So you can do, As I told you guys, right, the best thing is to use beeswax, right? Shava devorim is the best according to Kabbalah. But if you don't have it, use something else, whatever it is, right? As we said, right? It's okay. So, okay, ברוך ה' לעולם, אמן ואמן. רבי חנן שאומר, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לעשות את ישראל, לפיכך ירבה להם תורה ומצוות שנאמר בני חפץ, למען צדקו יגדיל תורה בידי.